Something didn't add up the day he walked into her little sewing shop. His expensive shoes clicked against the wooden floor. His tailored suit absorbed the sunlight like it was made to command attention. And when his eyes fell on the two children stitching tiny felt stars at the back table, his entire body froze as if he had seen ghosts he once buried. He didn't blink. He didn't breathe. And as the young seamstress, Mara stepped forward with her usual warm smile. She had no idea that the stranger standing before her was about to unravel every truth she had built her life upon. Before the story unfolds, make sure to like this video and subscribe to Hopeful Stories, so you never miss powerful stories like this one. Mara had always lived a simple life in the quiet town of Briarwood, stitching dresses and patching old coats in her tiny shop, where the hum of her sewing machine created a gentle rhythm that kept her heart steady. She grew up in an orphanage herself, which left her knowing the taste of loneliness and the sting of feeling unwanted. So when she found the abandoned twins on a rainy night 5 years earlier, two tiny newborns wrapped in a thin, damp blanket outside her shop door, something inside her shifted permanently. Their cries were faint, more like whispers fighting against the cold night air, and Mara didn't hesitate for a second. She scooped them into her arms, pressing them close to her chest as though love alone could warm them. The note left with them was heartbreaking in its simplicity. Please give them the life I cannot. No name, no explanation, just desperation. Mara took them to the authorities as required, but when no relatives came forward and the system began processing them for foster placement, she stepped in with a determination she had never known she possessed. She worked extra hours, petitioned the court, borrowed money from friends, and did everything she could until she finally received the call that changed her life. The judge approved her adoption. The twins, Lily and Leo, became hers, her family, her purpose. Her miracle wasn't easy, but Mara never complained. She worked late nights sewing gowns for weddings she could never afford to attend. She repaired school uniforms, babysat for neighbors, sold handmade quilts at the market, still found enough energy to sing the twins to sleep with lullabies she made up on the spot. Lily was soft-spoken and artistic, drawing little swirls and flowers on every scrap of paper she could find, while Leo was energetic and curious, constantly asking questions about the world. As they grew older, people in the community adored them, and Mara's small shop slowly became known not just for her skilled hands, but for the laughter of two bright souls who turned the dusty old space into a home. Yet Mara always wondered about their biological family. Not because she thought the twins lacked anything, she gave them everything she possibly could, but because sometimes she imagined a man or woman out there living with the weight of a decision that had broken their heart. Unknown to her, that person existed. Alexander Hale, now a powerful CEO millionaire, had once been a struggling 19, desperately in love with a girl who ran from her problems by leaving him with two newborns he never even got to hold. He searched for them relentlessly, but poverty, misinformation, and tragedy blocked every path. The mother disappeared overseas. Officials claimed there was no record of the babies. Years passed, then many more. Success came, but peace never did. Alex carried an empty ache shaped like two missing children. And although he had tried to bury the pain beneath wealth and work, he never truly let go of the hope that one day he would find them. The day he finally entered Briarwood was by accident or fate, depending on how one sees the world. He was passing through the small town when he spotted the sign, Mara's Stitchery and Rentals. It was the sight of the two children laughing inside that made him stop walking completely. Something in their faces, familiar eyes, matching dimples, expressions he had traced in dreams, hit him with the force of a forgotten truth, slamming back into existence. Mara approached him politely, unaware that her world was about to tilt off its axis. He asked her, voice trembling, "Those children, are they yours?" Mara nodded with pride. "Yes, I adopted them 5 years ago." Alex swallowed hard, his gaze locked on the twins. What happened to their real parents? The question made Mara uneasy, but she answered honestly. They were abandoned. And with that one word, Alex felt both fury and heartbreak twist violently inside him. He realized with terrifying clarity that these children were his lost children, his twins. And the young seamstress who had saved them had no idea who he was or why he had suddenly gone pale. Silent and shaken to the core, Alex returned the next day. Then the next, unable to stay away from the two bright little faces that mirrored his own youth so perfectly. Mara noticed his visits but assumed he was simply a customer intrigued by handmade work. The twins liked him immediately, Lily offering him her drawings, and Leo asking endless questions about his expensive watch or shiny cufflinks. Each interaction stabbed Alex with bittersweet joy. He had missed their first words, their first steps, their earliest smiles. And yet here he was, watching parts of himself reflected in every small gesture they made. Eventually, the weight of truth became too heavy to carry. One evening, while the sunset painted the store windows gold, Alex approached Mara as she was closing the shop. His voice trembled with sincerity and fear. "Mara, there's something I need to tell you. Those twins, Lily and Leo, they're my children." The air froze. Mara blinked, confusion turning into disbelief. She braced herself against the counter, her heart pounding as though someone had pulled the ground from beneath her feet. He explained everything, how he never abandoned them, how he had searched for years, how he had been young and powerless then, and how the mother had vanished without telling him where she left the babies. Every word cracked open old wounds and created new ones. Mara felt panic, protectiveness, and grief swirl inside her. These were her children, her entire world. The thought of losing them felt like death itself. Alex saw her fear and immediately raised his hands in surrender. "I'm not here to take them away from you," he said, voice breaking. "I just needed to know they were okay. I needed to see them with my own eyes. And you saved them. You gave them a life I couldn't. I owe you everything." Tears filled Mara's eyes as relief and sorrow collided. For years she'd lived with the knowledge that someone out there had abandoned the twins. But now she understood the truth. Someone out there had been searching for them, with a heart just as broken as hers had once been. Slowly, painfully, Mara allowed the truth to settle. She invited Alex into their lives in small, cautious steps visits to the park. Shared dinners, story nights where Alex discovered that Lily loved fairy tales and Leo adored adventure books. The twins grew attached to him quickly, sensing the familiarity he carried without even trying. Mara watched quietly as Alex built relationships he never thought he'd have, always keeping his promise to respect her as their mother. Months passed, and the three adults formed something unexpected, a fragile but beautiful family stitched together by pain, chance, and love. One rainy evening, as they all sat in the shop, Lily drawing patterns for a dress, Leo helping Mara thread needles, Alex stepped forward nervously. "Mara," he said, "you gave them life. You gave me life again, and I want to give something back." He opened a folder containing legal documents, trust funds, educational support, medical protection, everything the twins could ever need. It overwhelmed her. She cried, not because of the money, but because of what it symbolized: commitment, responsibility, a father trying to make up for everything he had missed. In time, the twins learned the full truth. There were tears, questions, hugs, and confusion, but ultimately, love won. They didn't lose a mother, they gained a father, and in the end, Alex didn't take them away. He didn't break the family Mara had built. Instead, he strengthened it. The young seamstress who once found two abandoned babies learned that life sometimes returns what love refuses to let die. And the millionaire CEO who once lost everything he cared about discovered that the greatest wealth he could ever have was two children, who called him daddy, and the woman who taught them how to love in the first place. If this story touched your heart, please like this video and subscribe to Hopeful Stories for more emotionally inspiring stories that remind us of the power of love, kindness, and fate.